Well, today I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. I don't think I've made a video about guns before, but here goes. And I've got the gun hat on, I've got the tinfoil hat on, so we are ready for this. Um, I'm probably going to be making more in the future as well, which involve actual guns. I've got kind of an interest in vintage firearms, or rather, I'm developing one. And when I move out and I'm living with a couple of friends, they're going to be a lot more tolerant of having a house full of weapons than my parents would. And ever since I was a little kid, I've wanted my own arsenal, so I'm pretty excited. Um, Anyhow, what we're going to talk about today is the Sturmgewehr 44, and basically it was the first assault rifle, which a lot of you probably already know. It's sort of a famous weapon. Um, and there's a rumor that Hitler himself named it because he was so impressed with the gun, apparently. Sturmgewehr literally translates to storm gun, so, of all the things Hitler was known for, subtlety certainly wasn't one of them. Um, so it it began production in Nazi Germany during World War II, and it uh, it performed really well in the field, uh, because, as I said, it was the first proper assault rifle, so it sort of covered two bases at once. It had the rapid fire of a submachine gun with the stability of a rifle with a good wooden stock and a long barrel. So it it also had really limited recoil. Like if you watch a video of this thing being shot, I'd suggest Hickok 45, by the way, because his channel rocks. Then you see that it doesn't really move back much when you shoot it. It's a really easy gun to shoot. In fact, my dad has shot one himself, and he's told me that the blowback is basically non-existent, especially when compared to other assault type weapons. And you can still find them nowadays, and in fact they're still used nowadays in parts of Africa and in the Middle East. Currently, Syrian rebels, I believe, have a hold of some of them. A terrorist group there in 2013 got like 4 or 5,000, and foreign forces in the Middle East are just constantly confiscating Sturmgewehrs from militant forces over there. So it's a gun that's still pretty relevant, even though it's a World War II era gun, and there's many problems with a lot of them nowadays just because they're so old, but it shows you how good the gun is, that it's holding out this long and it's still sort of relevant. Now, you can go and buy one online, too. I mean, if you're in America, you can order from one of those gun auction sites and get it shipped to your house, and boom, you've got your own weapon. And that's just the way it should be. So, oh, yes, assault weapon. The Russians and a lot of other countries, in fact, had a lot of leftover Sturmgewehrs after World War II. Many forces that fought against the Nazis made it a point to steal Nazi weapons, as one would do, because every little bit of firepower you can get helps. So when the Russians got it, it's said that this gun heavily influenced their AK-47, because the Russians really took the assault rifle idea and ran. The AK it's one of the most successful guns on the planet. It's a good weapon all around, cheap production, etc., etc. So really the ones who kicked this whole assault rifle thing off were the Germans. So we can thank them for that, even though they were Nazis at the time. That's not so cool, but this gun is cool. And it actually it took small rounds, by the way. That's another thing worth mentioning. I believe there were 8mm rounds. Hold on, I'm gonna fact check that in case I'm wrong. Yep, 8mm, and there were actually 7mm options too. So I don't know how common that ammo is nowadays, but I can imagine it was a lot cheaper back then because of the smaller size. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the Yugoslav military was using those guns well after World War II, and so official, armies were still using these things so many years after. Anyhow, I think I've said everything I needed to in this one. Good night. I'm so fucking exhausted. I need to get some sleep. It's 5 a.m.